Picture this. You've spent a decade or more building a life, a stable home, a reliable career, maybe raising children. You are the rock, the provider of peace and predictability. On paper, you achieved the happily ever after the world promised. But then the quiet comfort starts to feel like a countdown. The woman you built this entire world with suddenly starts looking at you like you're the problem. Her restlessness is palpable. She's looking for a fight where there is none, starting arguments over trivial matters she used to ignore. The house that was once a sanctuary now feels like a pressure cooker. You are confused, you are exhausted, and you ask yourself the same brutal question every night. Where did all this sudden drama and restlessness come from? You observe the shift. She's actively trying to pick a fight with your stability. She accuses you of being boring, complacent, or predictable. You look at the man in the mirror, the one who works, who provides, who shows up, and you think, boring? I am the reason this empire stands. Yet every conversation becomes a battlefield. Every quiet evening becomes an internal war zone. Your gut is screaming at you, telling you this isn't normal fatigue or just a bad phase. Your gut is telling you that the entire system has been compromised. Are you losing your mind, or are you finally seeing the midlife fog for what it truly is? This is not simply about a temporarily unhappy woman. This is about a systemic, predictable pattern that society has been hiding from you, a devastating psychological need for chaos that systematically dismantles stable men. Stay with me, because once you understand the hidden mechanism behind this midlife drama, you will never be played the same way again. Now, let's shatter the biggest lie that is sold to men about stability, the lie that often destroys relationships built on honest, hard work. Society tells you that every woman's ultimate goal is to find peace and security. That once you provide the stable home, the predictable income, and the faithful commitment, the relationship contract is eternally fulfilled. That is the core lie. While security is the reason she chooses you initially, that very same security often becomes the reason she resents you later. Why? Because the human brain, specifically the female psychological mechanism, is wired not just for comfort, but for emotional peaks. This is the principle of the Hedonic Treadmill. You work hard to achieve level 10 of comfort and success. For a while, that comfort feels like heaven, but the human mind quickly adapts. Level 10, comfort swiftly registers as the new level 5. The safety you meticulously created, the peace you built, soon begins to register as boredom. And when that relentless, soul-crushing boredom sets in, the internal system starts desperately searching for the thrill again. This is the hidden mechanism that rips apart long-term relationships in the midlife stage. She is not necessarily looking for a better man, she is looking for a stronger, more intense feeling. When she looks at your stable, successful, and reliable life, she doesn't see a victory. She sees a cage of suffocating predictability. The secure love you offer, the stability you embody, becomes the very thing she feels she must reject in order to feel that lost rush again. This is the finding herself trap. She doesn't need to find herself. She needs to find drama to mask the profound discomfort of her own unresolved self-worth. And the cruel irony is, your most valuable asset, you're rock solid. Stability becomes the primary enemy she must defeat to justify her restlessness. We must now dive deep into how this hidden mechanism translates into the drama cycle. Think of your stable, secure relationship as a casino table where you have put all your chips, years, financial security and commitment on one guaranteed winning number, stability. For years, you collected small, predictable dividends of peace and security. But one day, the woman decides that these small, predictable payouts are no longer exciting enough. She feels an irresistible primal urge to bet all those chips on a new, high-risk slot machine. This is the casino bet, a reckless gamble with everything you built. The midlife drama cycle is not random chaos. It's a desperate search for intensity. She needs conflict to feel alive because the comfort has numbed her to her core. You are witnessing the psychological effects of affluenza, the exhaustion that comes from having no immediate problems, mixed with the final urgency of the biological and social clock. The security you provided frees her from the daily fight for survival, which then creates an emotional vacuum. She fills that vacuum not with genuine gratitude, but with chaos and manufactured conflict. She creates drama to shatter the mirror that reflects her own internal stagnation. Let's do the deep dive analysis, starting with the resentment towards stability. When a woman's life is entirely secure, she starts looking inward, often confronting unresolved issues, paths not taken, or the heavy realization that she hasn't used her own life force the way she genuinely desired. Since it is easier to project blame than to accept personal failure, she targets the most stable, most available person, you, your predictable success, your calm demeanor, your financial planning. All of it becomes a toxic symbol of the safe choice she now regrets making. The chaos she creates is not intended to hurt you specifically. It's an attempt to shatter the symbol of her own internal compromise. Consider the classic anecdote of the drama magnet. The husband, let's call him Alex, who made great money, was faithful and was always home on time. Suddenly, his wife demands space to start a new, ill-defined business venture, and now exclusively spends time with new friends who have volatile, chaotic lives. Alex's life was not the problem. It was the absence of drama. Her new friends, their high-risk lifestyles, their constant complaining that chaos validates her current need for emotional excitement. She sees them living on the edge, and for a short, destructive period that looks like freedom, she is essentially seeking external validation for her internal turmoil, and you, the rock, are simply too stable to provide the necessary friction. The midlife woman often starts to weaponize boredom. If she's bored, it must be because you haven't planned enough trips, you haven't given her enough attention, or you are simply not exciting anymore. This is pure manipulation. She relabels your stability as boring to justify her internal vacuum. She is trying to manipulate you into apologizing for being the responsible man she once meticulously chose. If she fails to find internal purpose, she will turn to external conflict. But wait, the signs she leaves behind are not subtle. They are screaming a final warning. Now let's talk about the specific, observable patterns you absolutely must recognize. The emotional exit always precedes the physical one. This means that by the time she asks for separation, the decision was already finalized weeks, months, or even a year ago. These are the 5 shifts of separation, the silent red flags that most stable men fatally dismiss. The first shift is new friends, old habits, new justification. Suddenly her core social circle changes. She begins spending time exclusively with individuals who embody a high-risk, high-chaos lifestyle. These new relationships serve a specific, insidious purpose. They are there to challenge the boundaries of your established relationship and actively validate her self-pity. They present your stability not as an asset, but as proof that she is stuck or unfulfilled. She is using their chaos to fill her own internal vacuum. If she is actively excluding you from these new encounters, understand that she is searching for a new mirror that reflects the new, restless image she desperately wants to project. Her past life, the life with you, is now inconvenient for her new narrative. The second shift is financial secrecy, the budget blind spot. An individual genuinely invested in a long-term, stable future operates with financial transparency. But when the separation mindset takes root, financial secrecy becomes paramount. She will either begin overspending impulsively, leveraging the security you provided, or she will start secretly accumulating personal funds. She has begun to view your shared income, your hard-earned wealth, as a potential escape fund. When discussions about money become immediately guarded or emotionally volatile, you are witnessing evidence that her loyalty has already become divided. The third shift, increased online validation seeking. Her phone becomes an obsession. She is spending an excessive amount of time on social media platforms. The desperate internal need for external validation, likes, comments, and attention from strangers or acquaintances leads her to spaces that offer instant, low-effort gratification. This false, digital validation quickly outweighs the stable, genuine bond you provide at home. When you dare to question the phone habit, she immediately becomes defensive and resorts to gaslighting. You're jealous. You're insecure. You don't trust me. Write this down. Defensiveness is data. It is the data that confirms she is hiding a truth she cannot justify. The fourth shift, resentment towards your peace and success. This is the most toxic sign. When a partner loves you, your success is shared. But when she is deep in the drama cycle, your peace and professional growth become a source of anger. Your stability simply accentuates her own internal restlessness by contrast. Your promotion, your commitment to the gym, or even your grounded calm, all of it is perceived as a personal slight. She will subtly minimize your achievements or offer a half-hearted, sarcastic compliment. When your rise starts to feel like her failure, she has mentally chosen to be your competitor, not your partner. The fifth shift, the weaponization of boredom. She uses her feeling of boredom as a weapon to attack your character. You don't make an effort. You aren't exciting anymore. This is pure tactical manipulation. She relabels your stability as boring to justify her internal vacuum and restlessness. She is actively trying to compel you to apologize for being the responsible man she once meticulously chose. If she fails to find internal purpose, she will turn to external conflict. If you are observing these 5 shifts, you are hearing not an alarm bell, but an evacuation siren signaling a critical breach. Now, let's talk about the counterintuitive move that separates the men who survive this storm from the men who drown. Most men, observing these catastrophic signs, immediately panic. They activate chase mode. They engage in performance, booking expensive trips, buying extravagant gifts, or resorting to emotional begging for peace. This is the fatal mistake. You cannot neutralize her internal restlessness with external effort. When she is actively seeking drama, your stability and desperate chasing will only accelerate her push away. She craves friction. You offer compliance. The strong, dignified move is radical non-reactivity. You must become the unshakable lighthouse. There is a storm at sea and the ship, the relationship, is tossing violently. But the lighthouse never moves. You must become an emotional anchor. When she attempts to inject drama, respond with a calm, analytical question about the facts, not the feelings. When she is snappy, remain impassively calm. Do not feed the chaos. Her drama is fueled by your reaction. When you refuse to react, you either force her to de-escalate or push her to create an even bigger spectacle, which only serves to expose her true emotional state to herself. She loses control when you lose your fear of her chaos. This demands hyper-focus on self-ownership. This is not the time to fix her. This is the time to fortify yourself. Recommit a 100% focus to your purpose, health, and wealth. Redefine your own life goals and mission. Her emotions must become secondary to your self-sufficiency. When you become self-validated and self-sufficient, when your happiness is no longer tethered to her mood swings, you instantly strip her of her primary source of control. You cease to be her necessity. The counterintuitive truth. Your distance and non-reactivity achieve 2 powerful outcomes. First, they shock her system by proving she no longer controls your emotional state. Second, and most importantly, they restore your dignity. And when dignity is intact, making the necessary hard decisions, the decisions that protect your peace, becomes manageable. You do not chase. You stand firm. This inevitably brings us to the unbeaten reality. The final math of midlife choices. We are all playing against time. And in midlife, time ironically becomes your greatest asset and her greatest vulnerability. The drama cycle is often fueled by the deluded belief that she has infinite time to correct perceived mistakes or make high-risk gambles. But the moment she takes the casino bet and exits the stability you provided, she is instantly confronted by the final verdict of the market. She realizes that the world outside does not offer sympathy, it demands value. Her market value is often drastically lower than the self-image she desperately tried to maintain. This reality shock is inevitable, and it's what we call the wall. The wall represents the irrevocable consequences of choosing chaos over stability. The financial wall, the stark, cold reality of alimony, the division of assets, and the true burden of her own earning capacity. The stability you provided, which she found boring, becomes her single greatest financial regret when she loses it. The social wall. The new friends and the chaos she sought proved to be short-term distractions, not long-term allies. They bring drama and then vanish when the consequences begin to mount, leaving her isolated and exposed. The emotional wall, the most critical. When she pursues this new chaotic life, she inevitably discovers that her unresolved self-worth and internal restlessness are still precisely where she left them. She only changed the scenery, not the source of the problem. Your job is to view the unbeaten reality as an unemotional fact. Her drama is her choice and her responsibility. Your job is to protect your own stability and future, even if that means the relationship must end. Because when she eventually tires of the chaos and looks back, she will see that the lighthouse is still standing, but it has turned its powerful beam toward a new shore. The ultimate victory is not about attempting to get her back. The ultimate victory is proving to yourself and the world that your peace is non-negotiable. This is the brutal truth that will immunize you against midlife drama. You must achieve the state of acceptance that you cannot negotiate with a casino bet that has already been placed. You must find the strength to let go of what is already actively destroying itself. The final choice is yours. Will you desperately cling to the sinking ship, her chaos and drama, or will you swiftly pilot your own boat, your life and purpose, to the safety of the shore? Final, non-emotional action plan to lock in your victory. Enforce non-reaction. When she brings the drama, calmly return the responsibility for the chaos to her. Do not engage in her argument. The triple focus: make your wealth, health, and peace your absolute first priority. Your self-derived value is your only true armor. Define your exit price. Determine the point at which enough is enough. Set the price of your dignity and refuse to allow the relationship to drop below it. The midlife woman's drama is simply the physical evidence of her unresolved internal restlessness. Your goal is not to be a victim, but to live in thriving mode. If this brutal reality hit you hard, if you realized you were already fueling her chaos, you need to take immediate action. Don't wait until the wall hits. Hit that subscribe button now so you never miss the next truth. Comment below and tell me when you first witnessed the weaponization of boredom in your own life. And share this video with a friend who is currently living in the midlife fog. Protect your peace.